My boss gave me a tip that resonated with me. He said, do fewer things really well. Now, this was in response to a question that I had asked him, which was, what advice do you give someone who tries to conquer the world? Let's talk. Hello, leading ladies. I am Della, leadership guru, and I'm back with Lead Lady 101. This week, we're going to talk about how to use our strengths effectively as leaders. Now, I normally consider myself a jack of all trades because I'm pretty good, right? But I did not take into consideration the second half of that phrase, which was a master of none. So I had a friend that asked me, we had a conversation, and I was asked, what are you really good at? What are you good at? And it was like a stump the chump moment for me. I had no answer. And that's not like me. I pretty much always have some kind of answer. But I had none. And I got to thinking, and this is how this topic came about, I have to figure out what I'm really good at. Or at least make something happen, right? So I decided to take a poll. I decided to ask around. I've gotten answers like, oh, you're a good listener. You are funny. You make things happen. You're like an action officer. That was a little iffy, you know. I mean, I do make things happen. Yeah. But I got a good one from my sister. She said I had the gift of the gab. And it kind of was like a summary. It summed everybody's thoughts up. And I was like, girl, you all right, girl. I liked that. Because I can talk when need be. You know? Now, that whole thing came together. Like me having the gift of the gab, that all came together after talking to my boss this week. I had requested for a developmental counseling that followed this big brief where we had to, my team had to brief the commanding general on training that was going to occur 6 months out. Basically how we were going to accomplish, how we were going to be proficient in training, essentially. And I had received a lot of praise from it. Now in the meeting, I was shaking in my boots. Literally, heart was pounding. I was hot, flustered. But I've come to realize that's when I do my best, kind of when I'm nervous. That's when I'm most confident because I have to speak loud as a female. But I did really well, according to a lot of my peers in higher echelons. So that made me reflect on what made that successful. What specifically did I do, or how did I use my strengths to really do a great job in that brief? And I'm excited to come back and tell you guys what I thought my assessment was. I analyzed 3 things that made me successful during this brief. 1, I identified what my strength was going to be, and that was effective communication. 2, I prepared myself, and that is with research and resourcing, because I'm more confident when I know what I'm talking about. And number 3 was practice. Now, I do a lot of this with the vlog, which is, one of the main purposes why I do vlogging, to make me a better or an effective communicator. And I practice a lot. When I know my material, I'm able to do repetitions. I understand what I'm about to say, so that when it comes to me briefing or saying it amongst an audience, I'm pretty good to go. Those 3 things paid off dividends for me. Now, the hardest thing for me to do is to focus on fewer or smaller things. I decided that being an effective communicator and honing in on skill sets that involves putting on events, training, programs, and so forth would pay off really well, being that I am an executive officer within my organization. If you identify your strengths, you do the proper researching, resourcing, and then you practice, your talent will speak volumes for you as a leader. If you would like to connect with me in the future, email, social media, all that good jazz is down in my description box. Hit me up. I am ready to answer any question that you may have about leadership or any other thing that interests you. Let's connect. This has been Mac's Perspective, bringing you a fresh point of view.